She is a girl next door, or should I say GILF next door, multi-dominated content creator, model, host of, and this is wonderful, I have listened to it. She's a great interviewer, the Granny Panty podcast. We'll get into why it's called that in a little bit. And she's been published multiple times. Resident of the Pacific Northwest. By the way, I realize this is Portland and I'm talking about Seattle, but as you can see, Ruby, thank you so much for joining us. But it is indeed NBA Uniform Week, and I may or may not have a Sean Kemp Seattle Supersonics jersey that I'll be wearing tomorrow. Wrong time to do it, but again, I'm sure you're a Blazers fan.
Yeah, closer to the Blazers than I am to the Sonics, for sure.
It's the general area code, I guess. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Hi.
Thanks for having me.
You are certainly the definition of keeping a marriage fresh, with both of your activities. And Joe, on the other hand, just got married. Very fresh. Although, I mean, they were together for like almost a decade, so make of that what you will. But we have another one of our, I'll tell you what, if there was no psychologytoday.com, there would be no Mornin. We really just run them dry. And then this one, it asks the question to various therapists and studies, are married people happier than single people? Because normally you get the statistics that say that conclusively they are. This one is questioning how those statistics are formed. As you probably already figured out, the four groups are comparable to four marital status groups, meaning the ones that they asked how happy they were. 3.3 from those currently taking the drug, currently married. Oh, they were comparing it to drugs. The groups were currently married, never married singles, people who were divorced, and those who are widowed. They found flaws in that in and of itself because, you know, the single people assumed one thing about marriage while the unmarried people did not. The U.S. married people are systematically advantaged by hundreds of laws that favor them. So that also, you got to add to that, which I never got. It's like you're punishing some people for just they never had the opportunity to get married. Single people, in contrast, are stereotyped, stigmatized, and marginalized. They believe that affects the answers of the questions they give. And they felt that a more appropriate comparison when studying these people, or polling them, I should say, is whoever is married versus whoever is not married. For everyone who was married, all right, these are numbers I'm not understanding. Basically, they felt that there's a better way to do this, and that they found that the results were suspect with regards to how people that are married are wildly happier. Obviously, you and your husband are making it work by doing a job that's fun and doing it together. What do you make of other married couples, particularly of your guys' age group? How happy are they? Could they use a little swinging if they're not? I don't know what the Portland area is like.
Funny enough, we don't actually know that many people who are married. And it's kind of crazy. Like, all my girlfriends are single. I don't know about that. They all want to find a guy like my partner, but I can't really, it's hard to answer that. I do think people our age are probably not as happy as we are, but they also might not be living authentically. We live authentically.
That's a good point. And it certainly helps. Well, and I've told Joe many times, your age, you're going to a lot of weddings. At my age, weddings dry up, but you're starting to get a lot of your friends divorced.
My friends are starting to get divorced.
Oh, really?
Which is wild.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Right.
But the issue with this study is, like, how do you quantify happiness?
Exactly.
Right.
That's what it is, and it means something different to everyone. For some people, their independence makes them incredibly happy, or the ability to date many people or have many different relationships makes them happy versus a traditional marriage. I think that the biggest issue, though, is when you depend on your partner for your happiness.
Exactly.
So when people say,
Well put.
you know, and they think it's a compliment, like, oh my God, I love you so much. You make me so happy. And it's like, no. I can add to your happiness. I can add to the quality and the value of your life. But if you can't find that joy on your own and you're depending on another person for it, you're almost always going to be disappointed because it's out of your control. It's literally in someone else's hands. So that's
a lot of sense.
1,000.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe
I agree
you should write an actual book.
1,000%.
That was well said. I'm
Thank
very
you.
surprised. You
Yeah.
really got something out of her there. Well, listen, Ruby, we thank you so much for joining us. Please give us all of your plugs and promotions.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course.
You can find everything RubyLynne by going to RubyLynne, RubyLynne.com. All of my links are there. So it's a one-stop shop.
I love it. And anything that's one-stop shop, I'm all for. I'm very lazy. Very, very lazy. Well, thank you.